we just really needed some way to get on the same page and get organized. We tried smart calendars, we tried planners, and those were all helpful tools, but they really weren't connecting with our kids in a meaningful way. And so we started the idea of having a family meeting once a week to try and get everybody on the same page before the week started, so we would know it was coming and we'd be able to plan for it, including things like meal planning, including things like making sure anybody knew who was going to be out of town on a business trip. And it didn't really go super well. We would go for it for maybe a week or two and then fall apart and then come back into it maybe a few months later in a different format. But we weren't really able to be super consistent at it. And the family meeting itself was becoming something that we weren't looking forward to because it felt like an obligation. And it felt like this big thing that the kids had to be pulled away from whatever fun they were having to sit and listen to their parents drone on about boring stuff. And it wasn't really fun. And so this last fall, we tried it again. Well, why we tried it again, Stephanie challenged me. She said, hey, we need to do this family meeting thing again. We got to pull it together because this isn't working and we need to participate. And so we started up the family meeting again. And we went with a pretty consistent format this time around of getting together on Sundays and going through a format that it started with scripture and prayer to begin with, like a mini devotional, followed by what was going on during the week. So we made sure we go through everybody's schedules, what's happening during the week, any big events that are coming up. We talk about what kind of things the kids might want to pray for in the world, in their lives, their friends' lives, in their own lives, big things that are coming, things they need help with. Steph and I got a chance to share the same thing about ourselves. And then before we conclude the family meeting, we have an opportunity for some fun, which is we let each of our kids pick for the week either a snack, a drink, or a dessert. Not for every day, but just to have at some point during the week. And so it lets our kids have some input on what they're doing. Oh, also, we let them talk about what meals they might want, for instance, during the week. So our kids get to participate in some of the meal planning we do for the week. They get to eat some of their favorite things. They get to pick something fun that they like, that they get to share with their siblings. And we get something to look forward to every week. And the kids responded really well to it right away. They responded well. To be fair, they probably responded better to the snack, drink, and dessert aspect of it than anything else.
That's what they're
but
there
it's
for.
Kept them engaged, right? We're now in January and we still have family meetings. And by the way, if we forget what order snack, drink, and dessert is in, we can just ask the kids because they never forget.
No, they never forget.
But it has been a game changer. It helps us to connect, helps us to stay on the same page. It's helped us avoid some of the guilt at not having constant daily family dinners together as we're running around activities. And it's just been really beneficial for our family. It really has been a game changer. And the best part is that our kids know what each other are doing. Whereas before they were a little bit more insular, focused on what they were up to. Now they know what their siblings are doing. And I think that's been the biggest game.
Yeah. So I'll just add that part of what really made us realize that we needed something to enhance our communication as a family was me going back to work full time. So I was home with our kids exclusively for 10 years. I was working part-time at a church. And then when Calvin was born, when he was 1, I stepped back and have stayed home. And so I always carried the mental load of being the mom, of having the family calendar down, knowing what was going on, all of the things that moms do. That was 100% on me because I wasn't working outside the home at all. So when I started working, honestly, we had a really rocky year and a half of me going back to work because I stepped into working a 40-hour-a-week job and continued to do the same amount of work at home, carrying that mental load, doing all the things that I was doing. And we tried so many different ways to split up tasks and split up different things. And it just nothing worked. We just were floundering for a really long time. And I think that being able to sit down intentionally and talk about what has been going on, what we have to prepare for so that and I don't have to remember everything on my own, that has just given me so much more relief. And it has taken off so much of my stress of being a working mom. So I think that was really kind of the game changer for us, because we weren't used to having 2 full-time working parents, at all.
No. Well, and I think the other thing is that you're a way better planner than I am. I don't like planning. I like to figure out what we're going to eat for dinner today, go to the store, get the stuff, come home and make dinner, right? And that's just, the reality is we don't have that kind of space in our life to do that every day.